So today we're going to be talking about packing tape sculptures, which are really neat things that you can create just with packing tape and saran wrap. Now these will come out really translucent. A lot of people who see these out by an artist named Mark Jenkins think of them kind of like ice or almost ghost type things. And we're going to create these, so if you want, you can create some cool Halloween decorations and put them out in your yard. You can have hands coming up, you can make a ghost, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
So we are going to do hands, but like she said, you could do ghosts. And the cool thing about this is, no matter what it is, it's see-through. So you can put lights inside to make it light up. Now, to do this, you're going to start with your saran wrap, which we have a piece right here that's not too large because we're going to do the hands. And Miss Frisch's hands is which we're going to do. So she's going to hold it out, and I'm going to have her make her fingers go as wide as they can, and then I'm going to fold the saran wrap back down on it because the saran wrap basically is going to protect her from me getting too sticky because we are going to use the packing tape as we do this.
If you got hair on your arms, that might hurt a little bit with tape.
Yeah, so we want to make sure we get it covered. Then what I'm going to do is her fingers are out wide, so I'm just giving a little bit of space and I'm cutting in, so I'm going to be able to wrap each individual finger because we don't want the fingers to be all together. So now that I've done that, now I'm making sure her fingers are all wrapped individually so that they have none of the tape will stick to her fingers. So I've got it that far. Now, here's where you want to kind of think about what you want your fingers to do. If you're thinking about taking these and having them come up from the ground, you might want to have kind of scary fingers like this. Now, you're going to have to hold it. Now, I would have a model do it like we're doing so that you're sure that you can manipulate it, because otherwise, when it gets to this step, which is your tape, it makes it kind of tough. What I do is I pull off about 2 feet of tape at a time to work with, because if I don't, it gets a little difficult. Now, what I'm going to start with is I'm going to start at her wrist, and I'm going to just wrap it around. Now, if you notice, I'm not pulling it tight. You don't want to pull it tight, because if you do, what could happen is it'll get really tough to pull off, and you could cut off the circulation on the person's arm. So I wrapped it around, then I kind of touched it. Now I'm going to cut another piece. You're going to want to do quite a few layers. So we're on our first layer still. Going in her palm, going across her hand, going over. Make sure you don't touch this saran wrap too early. Going through. And if you need to, you have to take the scissors. You want to make it so that it'll fold in. So always cut it so that it will make it fold around the fingers. So we're folding around the fingers. So I'm slicing it up a little bit to wrap. Wrapping around fingers. And just keep pressing it in. Okay, so it gets its shape. We're going to do this quite a few times. You want to do 3 layers. Probably today for our video, we're not going to do 3 full layers because we don't want to run out of time. But I'm just going around, looping it, pressing it, doing the next finger, making sure it's going through. Now, I want to make sure, I got to cut this because I want it to go down. I'm going through each individual one. Take that around, slice that up. You want to mold it to the fingers. Now, if you were doing this to the body, if you were doing this to your body, you would probably start with the waist, but you'd wrap yourself in tin foil or in saran wrap. Just make sure when you're doing it that you don't wrap it tight, because I will tell you, you can make some people kind of claustrophobic because it starts grabbing onto your body and making you feel tight. So you want to make sure you don't do that to the poor people you're using as your models. If you notice, every time I do the fingers, I try to keep all the fingers separate. So you're going to go through and you're going to do this for 3 layers. Now I'm really kind of only on layer 2, but I'm just keep rolling around. And I'm probably going to only do 2 so we can pull it out and show you the last step of it. So I'm getting this guy all done. Okay.
I wouldn't recommend doing this to a head. If you wanted a head, you might want to go out and get like one of those styrofoam heads or wig heads and cover that in saran wrap first and then go at it. Because you don't want to cut off breathing.
Not a good idea. But it is kind of cool when they're finished. So we've almost got our little fingers done. Looks like they're in good shape. So after 3 layers, what you're going to do then is I'm going to cut off all the extra. Remember, we wanted to make sure we didn't catch anything on our skin, so we had the extra. You can actually make them a lot longer if you want to. Now it's time to kind of pull it off. Now here's where you want it. I'm going to pinch this so that there's a gap there. And then I'm going to take the scissors and just run it up the middle of the hand, of the arm. And then I'm just going to do this just to give her a little bit of breathing room so that it's just like a glove, it'll slide off. So now I'm going to pull these off of her hand, and it gets kind of sweaty in there, doesn't it?
A little bit. It's not too bad.
So, and then we're just pulling her fingers out. So, whoop.
Got your thumb out.
Yep, got 1, 2, 3, and last finger. Last finger. And it's out. So, now we have it like this. Well, we got to put it back in shape because I did a little bit of surgery. So now I take this last piece, you close it back up, and of course, remember it was made out of tape anyway, so you're just taping it with more of what it's been created with. And then you have your hand. You do more layers. Remember, I only did 2 layers. This needs a little bit more. Then what you can do is literally stuff it with some colored paper to kind of give it some color. And you can put lights inside them. So I'm putting the lights. I'm just going to grab them all. Shove them in there. And then the cool thing is if you have the color paper over your lights, you can make your cool hand glow, which is kind of neat. But you got to put your lights all the way up through the fingers, and it'll literally, you can have them glow and look kind of spooky.